Welcome back to Linocut printing. This is the session, the printing session, so I'll show you what to do, how we print, how we ink up the block, and what we need in terms of art materials and equipment. First of all, we will start with the paint. This is the paint that we used at Brava Art for all our projects because it is very versatile. It paints on different surfaces and also is perfect for printmaking. Is washable. That is the main feature. I'd like to talk a bit about the setup in the classroom. There is a PDF lesson on the Brava Art Press website, www.bravaartpress.com, where your teacher, your mom, your dad, or yourself, if you are a lady out there trying to do some printmaking, can go and find out exactly what you need. You can print the version, the lesson. To start with, we need, as we said, we got the paint. We also need some equipment, and this is an ideal situation. We have here 2 food trays. They come normally from the fish shop, very useful. If you don't have the big ones, you might have a bit smaller. It's still good for the classroom and the home. If you don't have those trays, any board that has a coating like this will be good, or even a piece of plastic like that. We need a foam roller. A foam roller is the best to work in the classroom or at home for hand printing, because this is going to be hand printing. We are going to assume that we don't have a press. The paint should be dispensed in these plastic containers, easy to just put the roller in and then roll out the paint. We're going to use black and brown for our project today. We also need some printing tools. This is a round piece of timber that I have wrapped in leather with rubber bands here, so we can print like that. Very flat surface, excellent to print. But I discovered this. This is very easy to find. It's called a cork sanding block. Lots of rags, that is very important. Lots of rags is absolutely essential. We have to have actually plenty of paper. If your block is about that size, we need an A3 size paper. If your block is smaller, like this one, we need an A4 paper. As you can see, the block size has been drawn on this paper. You will see why. In this classroom situation, it's good to think that every student of a class of 25 will do at least 4 prints. At home, you can do many prints. Apart from printing on paper, Linocut or Linoblock printing can be done on other objects. Or as long as you have a flat object like a paper bag, you can print here on a paper bag and create a lovely bags for a gift. Or you can print on an envelope to make a really groovy envelope to send to somebody special. Or you can paint background and print over several times to create a nice greeting card. And last but not less important is this and this. We have the rags for cleaning. At the end of the session, you will have to clean. This is just a spray bottle. It's recyclable spray bottle. I put some water here with a tiny bit of detergent from the kitchen to help me to clean the surface at the end of the class. If you have used paint brushes with the paint to put the paint on the trays and the rollers, they will have to be washed in a tub or a bucket. I'm standing now because when you print it's better to stand. I have the block that I have selected to print. It's a very simple design. This is the print here, and I have done 1, 2, and 3, the same. So when you do that situation, having 3 or 4 or 5 or 25 prints is called an edition. So I have done an edition, a very small edition of this block here of 3. Here I have a couple of background that I have prepared already. If I want to add color in the background, I have done that as a monoprint before, and you can print in that position and get a lovely background. I have 1 and I have 2, which is, this one is the same size as the block. Here I have experimentation printing. This is the fun part, because when you print, you can print your editions if you want editions, but you can also experiment. And that is experimenting with a background there and printing in different positions. And this is preparing a background, a very dark background, and then printing the block with a very light colors. It's like a whitey pinkish color. Here I have a block that has been printed, as you said, just the block. It's about a blue dog. Here I have a small block, which is that here, that has been repeated to create a pattern like that. This one also can be used as a greeting card if you just cut it around. Here we have the 2 trays, the food trays, the big ones, or it could be the small one, as whatever you find. The roller, one tray will hold the roller and the paint, the other one will hold the actual lino block. So the paint goes up here. You can use a big paintbrush like this to apply the paint on a line here, like that. Now, using the roller, you have to roll out the paint. Let the roller to roll out the paint. Never push down, always allow the roller to roll out like that, to thin down that thick paint that you have before, like that. And then on this tray here, you use to apply the paint on the roller, up and down like that. More paint, up and down this way, like that. I have done twice. And again, another application. This is my 3rd application. And 4, I would do 4 with a big design like this, very thick design. 4 application, not pressing hard, just rolling the roller out like this. Now it's ready to print. Now, when you print at home, you can do this as one person, one child, working with mom or dad, or working on your own. But at school, you have to have a table dedicated to printing, where you keep your clean paper away from the paint. So in other words, we're going to have an area where you apply the paint, which is the dirty area we call, and a clean area, which is where you actually do the printing. That is all explained on that PDF lesson on the website. So this is my paper size, the actual paper size that I'll print on, and I have drawn the size of the block. So the position is more or less on the center, and you place your block down there with the wet paint facing up towards you. Now, this is the paper where I'll print. So this is very easy. You just match the edge of the papers. When working with at school, it's better to have the base paper in color. That will be a lot easier for the students. But I just have white paper today, so I'll match this edge of type paper there with this edge here. So I go there and press down with your hand to stick, for the paper and the block to stick together so it doesn't move. And this is my cork block here. And I'll just, from a standing position and applying pressure, I'm going to print using circular movement like this. In circular movements like that, you see I'm not letting it go. My other hand is holding very tight there. And I move my hand to the other side so I can print that corner here. And you kind of see the image on the back here. When it gets to that stage where you can see the image, means that it's nearly ready. So a bit more rubbing, pressing with your hand like that, applying pressure. And now if you want to know if it's working, you hold it here with your hand and lift it up a little bit and you say, yes, it's good. So there is your print. That's your first print. Here I have a background that I have prepared already. It's nice and dry. And I have the wet block with black ink, and I'll put it facing down this time. The ink or the paint is going to face down to the prepared background. So it's going to face down like that, center as much as you can, and press with your hand, or you can press with your block, with your cork block, to stick together, to make them to stick together. Turn it over gently and print. The same process, holding with one hand, applying pressure, rubbing with the block in circular movement like this, like that, holding that way. So you allow the corners to be printed. And it has to be really, you have to be really careful when you print with the corners and the edges, because sometimes people forget about the edges and forget about the corners. So it's important to keep that in mind. So this is a different way of printing, and that is a beautiful print, black print on the background that you have pre-prepared. If you are printing at home and if you can't find those food trays, a piece of plastic or a board like this, nice and smooth, sealed like this, will be very good. You put your block on the left normally and the paint on the right. The paint is on this container here, and again apply the paint as a line on here and roll out the paint in the same way you did when you used the tray. This is the end of our printmaking experience, printing lino blocks. We have made a number of prints here, just plain black over white, but also we have another black on white. But we have had fun experimenting like that. I've got another one here, another experimental print. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for wanting to learn printmaking. It's a very, very fun art technique to do. And remember that all the details and everything you need is on the Brava Art website, www.bravaart.com. Everything is there for you to download and to find what you need, and find also what to do, how to do, what kind of setting do you need. Everything is there. Thank you for your attention and happy printing.